Let's go. It's time. Welcome in. How's it going? How are we feeling today on this beautiful Tuesday? How are we feeling today? Checking in from Hartford, Connecticut. We see you. We see you. Let's go. Let's go. Alaska. Okay. We got Alaska apparently in the building. I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm actually doing pretty good. Game day tomorrow for you. Good luck, man. Ball out. Ball out. Oh, we got New York, Norwich, New York from Facebook. We see you. We see you. All right, how about this? Why not? We haven't done this in a while. We used to do this quite a bit. Um, drop where you're from. If you're watching the live, drop where you're from. We'll do a quick shout out. Do a quick shout out. We got South Carolina. We got South Carolina. Joshua, it's crazy. When you got clear Wi-Fi, you feel invigorated. The oil fields in Texas. Let's go. Who else we got? Connecticut. MD is that Maryland? Texas, Washington, SoCal, Jersey, Elizabeth, New Jersey. Let's see. Over here we have Sacramento, Sparks, Nevada, Lodi, Fresno, San Francisco, Salinas, Michigan, San Francisco, Sacramento. We got New Jersey, Anaheim, San Diego, San Francisco, Fresno, New York, San Mateo, but living in SoCal. Got New Jersey, AZ. Let's go. Texas, Miami, Las Vegas. Let's go. Let's go. All right, what do you guys want to talk about? I figured I'd hop on. This is not going to be a crazy long live. We got ATL in the building, Southern Cal, Guam. Let's go. We see you in Guam. Washington, Green Bay. Okay. Boise, Idaho. Talk about Trey Area. What do you want me to talk about Trey Area? What do you want me to talk about? What are we talking about Trey Area? Talk about Trey Lance? I can talk about Trey Lance. New Orleans, North Carolina. Modesto. I'll shout out. He said George Kittle. Talk about filling the need at cornerback. I mean, you guys know if you guys know me, you followed me throughout. You guys know that I think Trey Lance is ready for the moment. You guys know, even before the season started, that I thought that Trey Lance was ready to go. But of course, like Jimmy's been here. Jimmy's a leader on this team. And if the 49ers are going to keep Jimmy in camp and have them compete, or as they said, not compete, but essentially Jimmy's job throughout training camp, you kind of got to rock with that throughout the season. So as we went through the entire offseason process and how everything played out, starting with the offseason, I think we had a pretty clear understanding, after a while, that it really wasn't a true competition, and that Jimmy was absolutely going to have the first chance to start. And if you really look at it, Jimmy was able to, didn't start off hot. You can really look at Jimmy on both sides. You can look at Jimmy from the first half, and you could say, we were in the hole maybe because of Jimmy in the first half, but also maybe we got out of the hole partly due to Jimmy as well. So it's definitely a situation where I understand there's a lot of conversation back and forth around Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. When is it time to get Trey Lance in? When is it time to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't know. I think it's time to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo when Kyle Shanahan feels that Jimmy isn't giving them the best chance to win. And until that time really happens and shows up, we're kind of along for the ride. Like we can argue both sides. We can argue pro Jimmy, we can argue pro Lance. We could be either side. But at the end of the day, it's Jimmy Garoppolo's job to lose at this point. So it ultimately is in the hands of Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan. Um, Again, if Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't here and Trey Lance ended up starting week 1, Trey Lance went through training camp and preseason as the unquestioned starter. Yeah, I think Jimmy would. I think Trey would have been ready to go. I think he would have been ready to go. I was very bullish about Trey Lance being one of the more pro-ready quarterbacks in this draft class based on the system that he came out of at North Dakota State, what he was able to execute as a 19-year-old. He's pretty good. But again, that's not how the offseason was structured. So it's Jimmy's job. It's Jimmy's job. So until Kyle Shanahan decides that it's not anymore, it's really Jimmy's job from here on out. Again, it's up to Kyle to decide when that call is going to be made. I think with the 49ers, it's definitely interesting. It's an interesting dynamic. Again, you go back, the sequence that is really feeling like a microcosm, like of the situation. Now that I've taken a step back, I've talked about it a couple times, but that 3-play series to end the half for the 49ers to get 7 points on the board before halftime after driving down the length of the field. That 3-play sequence really felt like a microcosm of this entire situation. So again, first play that I'm talking about, Jimmy Garoppolo finds Brandon Ayuk in the end zone. He throws a perfect pass to Brandon Ayuk, hits Brandon Ayuk right in the hands. Brandon drops it. Okay, well, what is Jimmy going to do about that, right? You can't force the dude to catch the ball. Okay, I guarantee you, if Brandon Ayuk catches that pass, scores that touchdown in that moment, the narrative might be a little bit different come Monday. But guess what? Brandon Ayuk dropped that pass. The very next play, it is Trey Lance, or not, I'm sorry, not Trey Lance. It's Jimmy Garoppolo on a play action boot to the right. Jimmy Garoppolo does the play action boot. He gets out into space. He is able to identify a wide open Deebo Samuel. He throws it to Deebo. Unfortunately, the pass, at least from my angle and what I've seen so far, didn't appear to be on target. And as a result, Deebo Samuel lays out, tries to bring the ball in, but can't. Got his hands on it, wasn't able to get it. By, I would say, pretty much, anyone's standards, it was just not an accurate pass. And then Jimmy Garoppolo gets taken out. Trey Lance comes in. The entire stadium erupts. And then in a gotta have it moment on third down, they run Trey Lance in. I don't know, man. So again, it's a three-play sequence. 3-play sequence. Jimmy throws to Ayuk. Ayuk drops it. Would have been a touchdown. Jimmy rolls out into the basically play action, tries to find Deebo. Deebo open in the back of the end zone. Inaccurate pass. Deebo drops it. Jimmy comes out. Trey comes in, scores the touchdown. I mean, I don't necessarily see how that is sustainable for either party. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to it's a hard thing to manage. It's a hard thing to I couldn't imagine it as a player. Again, just put yourself in that scenario, dude. Like, so it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation. It's not easy. Jimmy understands he's on borrowed time. How does that affect him? How does that affect his play? Does that affect the way he starts games? Does that affect the way how he finishes games? I don't know. But at the end of the day, Jimmy got us again to a point where we scored. At the end of the game, we go up. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This is going to be an ongoing conversation. We're not going to stop talking about it. It's to me, it just feels like a lot of all the preseason turmoil, not the preseason, but off-season conversations, dating back to January, dating back to the rumors about Deshaun Watson, going back to the rumors about Matthew Stafford, to the rumors of Sam Darnold, whichever quarterback you want to talk about. I think it created a lot of unrest amongst 49er fans. Obviously, we understand where the 49ers ultimately landed. They trade up to number 3. They're going to grab the quarterback. Then that creates that kind of internal conversation within the fan base. Is it going to be Trey Lance? Is it going to be Jimmy? We find out Kyle tried to trade for Aaron Rodgers on the day of the draft. So there's just a lot of disconnect amongst the fan base regarding the quarterback position. So it's very reasonable to understand that as we continue to go throughout this entire process, that's all we're going to talk about. It's all we're going to hear. It's all people are going to want to address. So it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a long ass year. If the 49ers play like they played the last 3 weeks, again, you can't play one half of a game the way you want to play and always come out on top. You can't do that. You got to play 4 quarters, 60 minutes, start to finish. Again, it's always not going to start pretty. It's about how you finish at the end of the day. But we understand that position specifically is under a quarterback or under a microscope. Jeez, I cannot speak right now. So there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things in play. Again, when you see the offense struggling, you see them not being able to really move the football. You see defenses creeping safeties down. You see them squatting defenders in the middle of the field, daring Jimmy to throw there, and he's still throwing there. I think there's a lot of things at play for sure. But it's, again, at the end of the day, it's a team game. It's a team game. Starts in the trenches, starts with the offensive line, trickles down to the quarterback, the running backs, wide receivers. Same thing on the backside. Starts with the defensive line, translates to linebackers, translates to secondary. So it is what it is, and it all has to work together. It's 11 pieces on each side of the football working together for a common goal. Sometimes it's a little harder. I'm having a very blessed day, young hitter. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Let's see. What do we got? Cam wanted to join the live. I think I missed that though. Yep. Sorry, I missed that. I don't think he's still on. So yeah, I mean, Our fan base is special, man. Our fan base is special. We're a passionate group. We're a passionate group, regardless if we know what we're talking about or not. Um, we're a passionate group. We're a passionate group, regardless of if we think we know what we're talking about or not. Um, it is what it is, and I respect everyone and everyone's opinion. Again, I'm not going to be right all the time. I'm going to get things wrong. Whatever, you know how it goes. Um, but we definitely earned the nickname the Whiners, the 40 Whiners. Like I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna front. Like we definitely earned that nickname. Like straight up earned it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Again, we're like doing postmortems. We're doing postmortems. We're like trying to figure out and like identify all the issues and all that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. At least we aren't haters. For the most part, I'd say for the most part we're pretty good. For the most part, we're pretty good. I mean, like I said, we're passionate. We're passionate fans. Passionate fan base. We're a vocal fan base. Again, not every fan is created equal. So I'm not boxing y'all into the same group. It is what it is. So, so just a reminder, guys. Just a reminder. It is week 3. I personally view the first 4 weeks of the season out of any year, whether you think you're in a win now year or if you think you're a developmental team that needs more time and seasoning, I always look at the first 4 weeks as a extended preseason. It's for the starters. I mean, the starters aren't playing very much in the regular season. Again, we understand. Coach is wilding, man. Coach is wilding. So again, it's just there's a lot that still needs to get ironed out. There's a lot of situation regarding, again, guys working together for the first time. 49ers starting defensive line barely participated in training camp. There's a lot. We can go down the list. Like we can go down the list of proper context. I know context is missed on a lot of people these days. So we won't go down the rabbit hole of context, but yeah, I'm based on where we're at. We're 2-1. We have a division game coming up. The focus is on Seattle. The hope is that we get into rhythm against Seattle. So that's my biggest thing. That's my rallying cry for the offense. Like, again, like if you guys are watching me on YouTube, Facebook, you probably already heard me go crazy about this. But on Instagram, if you guys are watching, it's just a situation. Jeez. It's a situation where I really believe that if the 49ers offense can get into rhythm and get into rhythm early, that it completely affects the game flow. It affects the way you're calling on defense. You're affecting the way you're calling special teams. Everything is, I would like to think that this team starts and stops with the offense in regards to, attacking and being aggressive and doing all those things. I really think it starts on the offense. You have an offensive-minded head coach. You have veterans all over your offense. Again, you have the best fullback in the league. You have the best left tackle in the league. You have the best tight end in the league. We arguably are coming up to, you can say that we might have the best 2 wide receiver tandem in the league. There's too many excuses for the offense right now, and I think that's just part of it. I think that's just part of it is that, if this offense can get into rhythm earlier, start again making sure that the run game is working and is being pursued as we've at least seen it in the past. Obviously, there can be deviations and adjustments and all those types of things that are made. But I think the biggest thing that will help the defense, again, helping the defense, I really think if we just get into rhythm earlier, control the clock, again, my biggest rallying cry against going against Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer, is control the clock. Play keep away. Play defense with your offense. If you're limiting the amount of touches that you're giving a great quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, it's twofold. You're owning the game on offense and you're assisting your defense. You're playing complementary football. So I think what we've seen in the last 2 weeks is we've seen the offense kind of really try to get up to speed and just kind of struggle like getting into gear. And then it kind of puts our defense at a bit of a disadvantage. And then we're playing catch up with the offense while we're like putting it all on our defense. Like, defense, don't break. Don't break, defense. Hold them. Bend, but don't break. Bend, but don't break. And we just like keep looking at our defense to do the best job possible. And they're doing that. Like, I think that's partly missed amongst these last couple games is the defense is actually doing a really solid job of limiting points when we need them to. But at the same time, you have to play complementary football. You have to be able to help one another. The offense has to help the defense, and the defense has to help the offense. Special teams helps everyone. All three phases need to come together, and they need to start working together. And again, if we want to see these games be executed from a smoother standpoint, from a situation where we don't want to feel like we're arguing back and forth about, well, what about this? What about that? What if this? What if that? A lot of that comes down to just rhythm. And like I said, I expect a lot more out of this offense. I'm biased. Continue to say it. I'm biased towards the offense. I'm biased towards their experience. I'm biased towards what they're capable of. So I hold them to a higher standard. Again, we're coming down a coach's road that has 3 starts. Like, this is like, we really want to come down DeMeco Ryans' road, tell him, oh, he ain't it. This ain't it. He's not the coach for this team. Like, how do we determine that after 3 games? 1. 2, where we could have been 3-0 in all 3 of those games. Obviously, we understand what occurred against the Packers, which has ramped this narrative up. But again, I look at the offensive unit as being the main unit of this team. I mean, again, I'm biased. I'm biased towards the offense. I'm biased. Again, our head coach is the offensive coordinator. Our head coach is the play caller. Our head coach is the play designer. Our offense, like I said, we're stacked on offense. Even with our issues at running back, which again comes back to the offense maybe not being able to get into rhythm, because we literally had Raheem Mostert for 2 plays. We had Raheem Mostert for 2 rushes, and unfortunately, it was never able to get back on track. Elijah Mitchell did a fantastic job. So I don't know. Oh yeah, our fans wanted Saleh fired. Like, pages on here, your favorite pages on here, they wanted Saleh fired. I've been here before. I've been here before with Saleh. I remember 2017. I remember 2018. Oh my goodness. This fan base couldn't want Saleh out of here faster. And that's just remember where we've come from. We've been here before. So it's okay, man. Nolan says it makes me sick that we only put 28 points against the Packers. Sorry, defense, and inexcusable how out of rhythm we were. Yeah, I mean, agree. That's why I keep putting the emphasis on the offense. Again, complementary football. And we start to see that. We started to see some of that complementary football there towards the end. But we need to see it for 60 minutes. And I think if we really want to see the whole actual, like, what our offense, what our defense and special teams unit can look like and what we truly are, we got to see what that is for 60 minutes. And we haven't seen that yet. So on the flip side, to me, that's a positive because we're still not playing our best ball. We're still the 49ers through 3 weeks haven't shown us their best ball. I would guarantee you, if you like turn the camera on any one of those leaders inside that locker room and they say, do you think you guys have shown us your best ball through 3 games for a 60-minute period? I guarantee you a team leader from offense, team leader from defense, team leader from maybe even, I don't know. Actually, our special teams has been playing pretty well. I can't lie about that. Our special teams have been playing pretty damn well. What if it wasn't for Cannon sparking that run before the halftime? Maybe we don't even score there. So and Mitch Wishnowski's been doing great. Gould hasn't missed a kick in the regular season. So, okay, maybe special teams is doing their job. But we need everyone else. We need the offense to set the pace of the game. I look at the offense to set the rhythm, set the pace, set the tone, and then I expect the defense to fire and react off of that. In my opinion, if the teams are working in unison like that, how are you going to beat this team? If we're not turning over the football, we're controlling the time of possession, the run game is working, we're in rhythm. How do you beat us? I don't know if you can. But we still have yet to see that. And again, there's still plenty of time. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I think that's one of the biggest things that we have to remember. I saw what, I don't know. I just got the all 22. I haven't been able to scrub through it yet. But I'm absolutely watching that offensive line. I've seen way too much offensive line slander on the timeline the last 2 days regarding this offensive line. Again, if you didn't play offensive line, if you haven't coached the offensive line, if you're not involved with the offensive line in any regard, just be very careful about what you say regarding the offensive line. Just be very careful. Like, we know when guys get beat. It's very obvious. It's very obvious when guys get beat, and it's a part of the game. It's part of playing offensive line. You aren't successful on the offensive line without getting beat. It's just how it works. And especially when you're going up against some of the most talented defenders imaginable. So it is what it is, in my opinion. I'm not ready to make any sweeping judgments on the offensive line up until this point. Like I said, I got to go back and watch. I've watched the broadcast. I went back. I watched the broadcast. Again, guys make mistakes. Trent made a mistake. Like, Trent completely missed a block, and nothing against Trent. I think Trent is the GOAT when it comes to offensive line, left tackles, all that kind of stuff. But again, it's part of playing the game. Miscues happen. Mistakes happen. Miscommunications happen. It's part of it. So like the example with Trent, I don't know if it's a miscommunication based on which way the offensive line was supposed to slide. It looked like the offensive line should have slid to the left. Trent actually just kind of stayed home, even though he had a wide 9 on the outside. And rather than typically what he should have done, which is kick step out and get the most outside defender, because that's his responsibility, he stayed with the guy on his inside. Now, if you know anything about offensive line, that's not how you operate in a pass set formation. So it was just a miscommunication or a mental lapse, and that happens. Again, with Alex Mack, the play that he got beat on, That's one of the hardest blocks in football. Again, especially against Kenny Clark, a guy who is a really, really good defensive lineman, really good on the interior defensive line. Again, he was outside shade of Alex Mack. Alex Mack had to reach block him. On top of being, again, he's a center, so that means the defensive lineman is actually closer to you than anyone else on the offensive line. And it was a great play by Clark. Great play. He exploded out of his snap. Matt couldn't even get in on his track. Matt couldn't even get on his track before Clark just blew it up. Again, that was that, I think it was that pitch, that early pitch. Again, you can go back and you can look at why all this stuff happens. With Alex Mack, there's a simple adjustment there. You're like, okay, well, if we're gonna run that play again, I'm gonna need McGlinchey to give me an extra hand, and that's an adjustment you make on the sideline because in that, or did I say Brunskill? Whatever. You need Brunskill to stay and help you because typically what had occurred is Brunskill believes Alex Mack is going to make that block and he's going to be able to reach that outside shaded nose tackle. And so Brunskill went straight to the second level. Well, the simple adjustment to fix that is just double. You ensure Brunskill ensures Mack is there to take over the block. Once Mack is there to take over the block, then Brunskill goes to second level. It's a simple adjustment. So I think that's what a lot of this stuff is. It's just simple adjustments. The hope is, again, of course, it's just to get everything in rhythm, get everything on pace, get everyone on the same page. And I think if that occurs, then we'll be in a good spot. We'll be in a good spot. The 49ers are still extremely talented. Even with the situation with the running backs, even with the situation with the cornerbacks, they're still a very talented team. So it is what it is, and we need to help each side of the ball. We need to help each side of the ball to be able to get the rhythm going and get everything headed in the right direction. So I feel pretty confident that we're working up with something that's correctable. Again, with the quarterback situation, that's just a whole nother conversation. There's so many. Again, the quarterback situation isn't being purely evaluated off of just execution, how he actually performed. There's so many things because the quarterback is the leader of the entire team. Jimmy Garoppolo is a captain. Jimmy has a lot of that the locker room has his back. So it's just a tough situation. So we'll see how it continues to play out. I still imagine it's going to be Jimmy. I think it's going to be a really big week for Jimmy against Seattle. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Again, football is such an order of operations game, in my opinion. I know everyone likes to focus on the very last thing that happens. But there's, again, we're pointing to the game being lost in the last 37 seconds. That means there's 59 minutes and however many seconds that were played before that could have completely changed the outcome of that situation. Of course, they're going to look at it. They're going to figure out why they ran the coverage that they ran, why Davante Adams had an open spot in the zone, and things like that. So it'll be really interesting to see the adjustments that are made off of that. But again, that's why I put the emphasis on the offense. Like everyone's focusing on what happened at the end of the game. I'm focusing on what happened at the beginning of the game. Because if you execute as you should have executed at the beginning of the game, you likely don't put your defense in a position to again have to hold off the Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers and Hall of Fame wide receiver in Davante Adams. I don't know why that concept is hard for people to grasp. But again, like I said, if this team is in rhythm and they're operating in the first quarter, in the second quarter, I don't think we come up into a situation where we're having to win it at the end and like do all this stuff like at the end and bring it all the way down to the last second. It's just gotta be better at the front end. Gotta be better at the front end, because the front end is the reason why we were in the back end situation that we were in. So I don't know, man. I don't know. What don't you agree with, Coach, specifically? The game is 60 minutes. I agree. The game is 60 minutes. You got to play the first 30 minutes too. And you go back 2 weeks. The 49ers have scored on a desperation drive on both games, back-to-back games, 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row. Against the Eagles, the offense just wasn't like clicking. They weren't able to move the ball. It wasn't until Debo lines up on the wrong side, runs the in-breaking route, Kittle hits them for a big chunk gain. They get it down within the 10, and they're able to score right before half against Philly. It was a pretty similar situation against the Green Bay Packers. I think we would look at both of those defenses and think that based on the experience that we have on the offensive side, that they would be able to counteract that and be able to start off a little bit stronger. I mean, if I ever played, and we were talking about like halftime adjustments or like going back and looking at the game, it's like we focused a lot on the beginning of the game, like because it's an order of operations thing. Like if you manage this situation X way in the beginning of the game, we don't find ourselves in this position at the end of the game. So I get it. It's a 60-minute game. That's the point. But you can't just look at the last 30 seconds and say the game was won or lost in that moment. The game was won and lost the beginning of the first quarter all the way to the end. So my whole thing again, is 60 minutes starting from the first snap. I want to see the first snap. I want to see some rhythm. I want to see some extended drives. Hell, even if it ends in a punt, at least if you are able to churn out maybe 2 to 3 first downs, you're able to get some movement. You're able to get some clock. You're not going to score on every drive. I understand this. I get it. You're not going to, but there needs to be some semblance of rhythm, some semblance of we're ready to go, ready to fire off the ball, and all that stuff. So again, lots of stuff at play. But it is what it is. So hopefully, again, as we start to look towards this next week against Seattle, the whole point is that I think the 49ers defense have actually been doing okay. I think they've been doing okay, and they've been put in an unfair advantage to try to close out games because our offense has been at a bit of a disadvantage to start these last 2 games. Again, you remember that our defense had to bail us out against Detroit. So I think this is hopefully the week that we see some motivation, because I would have to feel that this locker room is circling the wagons. They're probably pretty damn close to cutting all of us off. I would say this locker room's pretty damn close to just not listening to a damn thing we say, turning off all the social medias, not checking their Twitter, not checking Instagram. I'm sure they're close. I'm sure it's close to circling the wagon season. Um, so we'll see. Again, the story's not complete. They're still developing their identity. They're still trying to get everything to work in unison. Again, working through so many different injuries. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. Why weren't the Niners doubling Devonta Adams? I don't know, man. I don't know. I guarantee you they looked at that situation and they made a big note of that. They made a big note of that. Again, I was on the one where Rodgers dropped it over Fred Warner's head. I was okay with that. I got it. It made sense. Like, I felt like Fred was in position. It was just a really good throw. It's just a really good throw. It felt like Devontae was bracketed over the middle. You had Fred Warner playing the under. You had a guy over the top. And it's just a really good throw by a Hall of Fame quarterback to just fit it right over Fred. Of course, Fred's a pro, took responsibility of it, said blame him for it, all that kind of stuff. So it is, there's so many. That's the thing. Football is such a nuanced game. It's such a nuanced game. It's such an order of operations game. One thing affects the next. So, again, my biggest rallying cry is let's get this offense rolling early. Let's get the run game rolling early. Let's feel like we can get a rhythm on offense, and let's go from there. Let's start out a little hotter. That's what I'm looking for. And then maybe we don't find ourselves in those situations again. So I get it. I feel like I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I'm excited, though, for another opportunity. I'm excited for another opportunity to play a game, and hopefully we come out with a victory. Because it's going to be a really long year. Because I'm pretty sure that this fan base believes that we should be absolutely in the playoffs. We should absolutely be competing for a championship. And with that mentality comes a lot of expectation. Whether they're placed properly or not, there's a lot of expectation that comes with that, which also means you're going to be disappointed if they don't meet a certain standard. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing. I think we're seeing that there's a lot of people in this fan base that have very, very high expectations for this team, and rightfully so. It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I think they're a good team too. I think they have an opportunity to do a lot of damage in the playoffs, push for a Super Bowl run. Why? Of course. Why not? Why not us? But at the same time, like, we can't just move through these games like, well, they should be a Super Bowl team. How do you lose to Aaron Rodgers in the last 37 seconds? Well, we know why. We know why. We lost 2 starting cornerbacks in the middle of the game. Our running game just couldn't get it going. We essentially had like one real running back who was actually inactive the week before, or no, first week of the year. Everyone else has been on the team like less than a week. Like that's just not a recipe for success. It's not a recipe for success. So all the things that we have to be able to like properly place that context. And so the thing is, every week that goes by, Trey Sermon hopefully gets more comfortable. Elijah Mitchell gets healthy. We have a nice 1-2 combination with those running backs and what they can do, and all that kind of stuff. The coach said because A-Rod is the best quarterback on planet Earth and we had Uber drivers at cornerback. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But that's kind of the point. It's like we can point to so many different things, but this fan base really wants to assign blame to someone, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's the defensive coordinator, whether it's the cornerbacks, whether it's the running back position, whether it's the offensive line, whether it's Coach Shanahan. at the end of the day, like if you really want to assign blame to anyone, and you really want to assign blame to anyone, again, that's why I put the emphasis on the offensive. I put the emphasis on the offense. I put the emphasis on our head coach and the offense, because our head coach is the offensive coordinator. And that's who I put the emphasis on. I expect, again, I understand that there's issues at the running back, but I do expect there to be a level of more rhythm for a team that is this experienced together. Again, solid offensive line, veteran quarterback, best tight end in the NFL, best fullback in the NFL, two of the best young wide receivers in the NFL. Like, and we want to dump on a guy who's in his third game. Yeah, there's going to be issues there. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be wrong calls. But that should be happening on the defense. Like, we should be expecting that. Again, this is a guy in his third game. Like, chill, relax. If you want to get mad or upset at anyone and you really feel that need, that you need to take that energy and throw at someone, well, that's why your head coach is the head coach. He is the head coach because he takes responsibility and accountability for the entire team. Well, our head coach not only takes accountability for the entire team, but he takes specific accountability for the offense. So that's what we can chalk it up to, at least in my opinion. And then we can move on, because after today, we're not going to talk about the loss anymore. We're not going to talk about the hows, the whys, who's responsible. We're going to break down the tape tomorrow. We're not going to like focus, so because that seems to be the rallying cry amongst the fan base, is who do we blame? Who do we assign blame for? Which unfortunately shouldn't be what we're trying to do. But if we really want to, and we really feel like that has to occur, got to put it on your head coach. You got to put it on your offensive coordinator. The offense needs to, there's too much talent on that offense for it to stall out the way that it's been stalling out. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Very talented group with a run by one of the better offensive coordinators in the NFL. So it is what it is. I'm really excited though, not to talk about this anymore. I think we're gonna do the film session around 1:30 on YouTube. I'll keep an eye out. I think I might try to get my guy Jason Aponte on tomorrow. I'm just not sure how we stagger it. I want to do both though. I want to get Jason on because Jason was with me at the game. Jason had some great insight on what the Packers were doing to us and doing to our coverage. He had some really good insight in real time. Jason Aponte had some really good insight in real time on some of the coverage stuff that was going on. So I would love to get him on tomorrow, but again, I got to figure out the scheduling a little bit more. But likely film Jason tomorrow. So that's what we're looking at. God, dude, I keep forgetting about the SF Diners, man. I'm so like wrapped up in the game. I keep forgetting about the SF Diners. Keith keeps reminding me. Keeps reminding me. So we'll see what happens the rest of this week. Obviously, the 49ers, they added Buster Screen today at cornerback. K'Waun Williams likely to be miss some time from the slot cornerback position. So again, more injuries to our already banged up defensive back room. That is now 2 original starters down. Jason Verrett and K'Waun Williams will now be out. And so again, we got to use our what we have. We got to use what we have. We got to use what we have. At this point, it seems pretty crystal clear that Ambry Thomas isn't ready for some live bullets yet. It would be great, like, if we could look right now and feel confident with Ambry and Diamador out there doing what they do. But I don't know. I don't know when we're going to see Ambry Thomas. I don't. What's up, Reds? So we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. So oh my God, Pole, man. What's up, Pole? Oh my goodness. So we'll see. It's a long season. I'm not panicking. Again, yeah, we've lost. I think the biggest development is just the injuries so far. The biggest development is the injuries. I would like the offense and defense to play at the same level at the same time. That would be fantastic. That would be really good. I hope you're doing good, Red. Bengals looking all right. Yeah, I think they put Ward at cornerback. I mean, it could get to that point. It could get to that point soon. It could absolutely get to that point where, again, Talanoa Hufanga has played serviceable. He's actually been getting some playing time. He played against Green Bay Packers. So if it ever gets to that point, Ward, I mean, he's already man-to-man on most of these tight ends a lot of the times as well. So he's already taken tight end responsibility a lot in these coverages, which is where he thrives. He really does thrive against tight ends. So I would like to keep him there. But if we're going to have to bring Jimmy Ward and play him down on guys like, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, or DK Metcalf, I mean, I would imagine Ward might be the one to match up with DK Metcalf. I would imagine that might be the case, because if Josh Norman isn't able to go, we don't know what Dre Kirkpatrick is, if he's ready to go. Oh, that's a good point, Keith. Keith says, when does Tarvarius Moore return? Whew. We could use Tarvarius right now, honestly. Like, if Tarvarius Moore was here, I wouldn't be shocked if Jimmy Ward was shifted down to corner. I really wouldn't. If we had Tarvarius Moore and Jaquiski Tart playing in the back half, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming soon. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to figure out, people are going to have to step up. We're going to have to do a bunch of different things to fill holes that are left from injured players. But if everyone's playing together, then we should be able to accomplish that. I've seen people ask about Richard Sherman. I think the 49ers lost their window at Richard Sherman. I know for a fact Sherman was open to coming back. I know he had spoke to John Lynch, I don't think there was the same interest. I think Sherman wanted to come back. I know for a fact Sherman wanted to come back, but it's got to be a two-way street. So 49ers are probably going to lose out on Sherman to the Bucs at this point. So, like I said, that window kind of came and it closed pretty quickly. So they're gonna have to find something else. They unfortunately didn't move quick enough on Sherman. So I'm not sure unless there becomes like some kind of bidding war here. I think we might have lost out on Sherman. We had the opportunity. We definitely had the opportunity to get him. He wanted to be here. I think we lost our window. So how about we call it today? I just wanted to hop on to Instagram, say what's up to the Instagram peeps. Of course, I actually have Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch going right now. A little bit different. Substituted Twitch for Twitter today. So, like I said, we'll be back tomorrow. We are efforting to get Jason Aponte on to talk about a little bit about the game, and then start to transition towards the Seahawks because it is Seahawks week. I'm tired of talking about this damn Green Bay game. And then, however, though, we haven't done our tape study yet, so we will do a little tape review tomorrow, and then we are going to shift focuses, hopefully start to look at Seattle and all that kind of stuff, and then put this stuff to bed. All right. So you guys have a great rest of your day. And we'll be back at it tomorrow. Peace. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I've officially done too many hours on live today. I've spoken way too many words that I should be speaking. So I'm gonna hop off, guys. Again, excited to come back tomorrow with some film. We're doing film tomorrow. We're actually going to be watching something else other than me, which is what we want. So that tomorrow, and we'll do it all again. Appreciate all you guys. Peace. We out of here.